In our last video, we explored Mokabions, a unique number system that breaks the rules of commutativity and associativity, yet still forms a consistent division algebra. Today, we continue building the world of dimensional algebra by introducing an entirely new system, the 3D dual numbers. This system is simpler in structure, it's both commutative and associative, but it opens the door to a different kind of geometry and algebraic behavior. We'll break it down from scratch, what it is, how it's defined, and how it fits into the bigger picture of multidimensional numbers. This is the next foundational step in our journey through higher dimensional mathematics. Definition. Let's define what we're working with. A 3D dual number is written as f equals a plus b times I plus c times j. Here, a, b, and c are real numbers. The rules are I squared is -1, j squared is also -1, but the product I times j and j times I is 0. In other words, I and j act like imaginary units on their own, but together they cancel each other out. Here's the full multiplication table for the basis 1ij. 1 times anything just gives that thing back. I times I is -1, j times j is -1, I times j and j times I are both 0. This unique behavior makes 3D dual numbers powerful, but also a bit dangerous, so let's be careful. Closure proof. Next, let's make sure the system is closed under multiplication. We'll multiply two 3D dual numbers, f equals a plus bi plus cj, and g equals x plus yi plus zj. Let's expand this step by step. A times x is a real term. A times yi becomes a yi. A times zj becomes zj. Bi times x is bxi. Bi times yi becomes by times I squared, which is negative by. Bi times zj becomes bz times ij, which is 0. Cj times x is cxj. Cj times yi is cy times ji, also 0. Cj times zj becomes cz times j squared, which is negative cz. Now collect the terms. Real part, ax minus by minus cz. I part, ay plus bx. J part, az plus cx. So the result is another 3D dual number. That proves closure under multiplication. Zero divisors, algebraic derivation. Let's get into the heart of this system, the zero divisors. These are non-zero numbers that multiply to give 0. First, from the multiplication rules, we see I times j is 0, but I isn't 0 and j isn't 0. That already breaks the usual rules of algebra. Let's go deeper. Take f equals bi plus cj, no real part, just the imaginary components. Now take another number g equals yi plus cj. Multiply them. Bi times yi gives negative by. Cj times zj gives negative cz. Cross terms. Bi times zj and cj times yi both involve ij or ji, which are 0. So f times g becomes negative by minus cz. We want this product to equal 0. That gives the equation b times y plus c times z equals 0. That's a linear equation with many solutions. For example, if y equals c and z equals negative b. That means plenty of pairs f and g exist that are non-zero but multiply to 0. That's the definition of a zero divisor. Now here's a contradiction. Suppose I had an inverse, call it I inverse, then multiply both sides of ij equals 0 by I inverse. That gives j equals 0. Contradiction. So I has no inverse. Same for j, and anything involving them could easily be a zero divisor. Conjugate norm. Now let's define the conjugate. For f equals a plus bi plus cj, the conjugate is a minus bi minus cj. Simple enough? We just flip the signs of the imaginary parts. Now let's multiply f with its conjugate to get the norm squared. Step by step, a times a gives a squared, a times negative bi gives negative abi, a times negative cj gives negative acj, bi times a gives a bi, which cancels the earlier negative abi. Bi times negative bi gives negative b squared times I squared, which becomes positive b squared. Bi times negative cj gives negative bc times ij, which is 0. Cj times a gives acj, which cancels the earlier negative acj. Cj times negative bi gives negative bc times ji, also 0. Cj times negative cj gives negative c squared times j squared, which becomes positive c squared. Now add everything. A squared plus b squared plus c squared. That's the norm squared. Important note, having a non-zero norm does not guarantee an inverse. For example, I plus j has norm squared equal to 2, but it's still a zero divisor, so it cannot have an inverse. Inverse formula. Now let's derive a general inverse formula. We want to find the inverse of f, which is a plus bi plus cj. Assume the inverse is x plus yi plus zj. Multiply them together and set the result equal to 1. Real part should equal 1. I part and j part should both equal 0. Let's write the equations. Real, ax minus by minus cz equals 1. I part ay plus bx equals 0. J part az plus cx equals 0. Now solve the second and third equations first. From the I part, ay equals negative bx, so y equals negative bx over a. From the j part, az equals negative cx, so z equals negative cx over a. Now plug both y and z into the real equation. Ax minus b times y minus c times z equals 1. Substitute ax minus b times negative bx over a minus c times negative cx over a equals 1. That simplifies to ax plus b squared x over a plus c squared x over a equals 1. Multiply through by a to eliminate the denominators. A squared x plus b squared x plus c squared x equals a. Factor out x times a squared plus b squared plus c squared equals a. Solve for x equals a divided by a squared plus b squared plus c squared. Now go back and find y and z. Y equals negative b times x over a. Z equals negative c times x over a. Final inverse, x minus y I minus zj. One condition, a must not be 0. If a is 0, the denominator vanishes and the inverse doesn't exist. That's consistent with what we already saw. If the number has no real part, it's often a 0 divisor. 3D dual numbers give us a simple, structured way to explore three-dimensional algebra, clean, commutative, and easy to build on. In the next video, we'll level up to 4D numbers with a fresh approach to quaternions. No old school confusion, just a new intuitive method. Stay tuned.